Greetings, this is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Today we're going to talk about the truth. What do we have here? We've got this society that shows us that demons are evil, that magic is evil. What is really happening is that your true power has been demonized. Your ability to tap into the source has been colonized. Instead of going directly to the stream, you have to go through a middleman. You have to go through a human organization. And taking all these extra steps, as we've seen, limits us because we're caught up in a fog of lies and human confusion. So in today's live stream, we're going to get into how to access your power and where the lie originated so that you can circumvent that lie and get straight to the point. So peace and greetings to all my favorite people. Welcome, welcome. We're about to get into it. We're about to get into it. Fat Tony, peace and greetings. Artemis in theory, peace, peace, peace. I gotta hit you up about that Fortnite. Ashley B, peace and welcome. Elisha Eternal, peace, peace. Yeah. Moni Lee, peace and greetings. Ultra Instinct, peace, peace, my friend. DB31, peace, peace. Stephen Wright, welcome, welcome. So we're going to get into this, and hopefully if you're listening and if you are at the verge of really tapping in, hopefully this kind of sets you over the edge so you go in fearlessly able to reclaim your power. And this applies to everybody. By the end of this video, you should have restored confidence in what you're able to do with this magic business. And you should have certainty that there's nothing wrong. This isn't evil. This isn't going to condemn your soul or send you to hell. I mean, that's what I would tell anybody if I didn't want them to access something. I'd make it scary. I'd make it spooky. I'd make it evil. The true evil is human ignorance, right? We've seen evil. What these people are calling demons is nothing more than human ignorance, human foolishness. But these entities, these spirits, these cosmic forces, not evil. And we're going to get into it. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, if you're ready, let me know you're ready in the chat. Let me know. Melanated empath, peace, peace. First time here. Well, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something. For sure. For sure. Sage advice, peace. Rainwater, peace, peace. Jojo, the revolt is on. Absolutely. So let's get it. Let's get it. I'm proud to present to you this presentation. The truth about demons that the church didn't want you to know. This is the war on magic and how to take your power back. How to take your power back. Manny, peace, peace. No face divination, peace, peace. Master Adam, you stayed up late for this. You stayed up late for this. You're going to get something good. You're going to get something good. All right. All right. So let's make this thing full screen and dive right in. Dive right in. You were programmed to be powerless, and we're going to change that. We're going to change that. So check this out. You were programmed to be powerless. You weren't taught to fear demons because they were dangerous. You were taught to fear demons because you'd be too dangerous if you remembered the truth. You'd be too difficult to control, and you wouldn't need a middleman to receive manifestation and blessing and a happy life. See, the church didn't destroy magic. They colonized it. And I know that's a hot internet buzzword. People are quick to say, oh, colonization, this, that, and the third. But that's literally what happened here. The church didn't destroy the magic. It's been colonized. They renamed your gods, and they turned them into enemies. And if that wasn't enough, they told you to worship the very system that silenced your ancestors. And you know this. Some of us know this better than others, right? They didn't just steal your history, they stole your power. Because if you're an American and you're black, there's an extremely high chance that Christianity was not your original religion. We're going to say 100% chance that it wasn't your original religion. It was your prison, right? It was beaten into your ancestors, literally, generation after generation. Mothers, children, fathers, grandparents. You were forced to give up your connection to the spirit realm and adopt something foreign, something alien, something that didn't belong to you, something that was new to the scene and recently made up. Beaten into your ancestors, carved into their flesh, branded into their blood. You've seen the movies, you read the history books, you know the story. Your family didn't convert, they were conquered. So putting it in that perspective, how does it sound? And you walk around not knowing your gods. You walk around not knowing your power. You walk around not knowing your purpose. Lost, wondering, confused. Let that sink in. And this isn't just true for black people. If you're Latin American, your Aztec, your Mayan gods were also demonized, right or wrong. Christianity came across the world and conquered many cultures, subjugated many spirits. If you're European, your Celtic, your Norse, your Slavic spirits burned out of you. If you're Asian or Indian, your wisdom was made pagan by colonizers. So you see this all around the world. Every culture had their own direct connection. Yet today, we're quick to call these things demons. But here's the thing, everyone lost something. But the difference is now, we remember, we've got the information. And this conquering spirit of religion has already lost its power and it's starting to fade. And the truth is coming to light. So let's talk about this, how they erased your spirit world. The spiritual ecosystem, right? This came to me as I was thinking and doing my research on this Goetia stuff, the spiritual stuff. So we can talk about the spiritual ecosystem all around the world. We've got these different cultures with a direct connection to God. You've got the Babylonian priestesses, right? You've got the Kemetic sorcerers, Yoruba diviner, a Norse seer, Hebrew mystic, Aztec shaman, Indian tantric, all around the world. Indigenous American dreamwalkers, Slavic witches, Taoist wizards. On every land where human beings settled, we had rituals, we had practices, and we had entities, spirits that we directly connected with. And they helped us to live our best lives, connected us with nature, and most importantly, connected us with ourselves deeply. But here's the conquest, right? Here's the conquest. After the Romans and Jews killed Christ, they then took this figure, this mythology, and created a weapon to conquer the world successfully. So what happens next? I'm glad you asked. Each and every one of these groups were labeled demonic, heresy, evil. Not only that, they were all cast into the pit of hell. So what we call hell, it's not a fiery furnace where you go and you're tortured for all eternity. Hell is this umbrella term. And all of the ancient cultures, deities, and spirits were sent under this umbrella term so that your only option is to follow the mainstream religion and to completely give up your roots and what you were connected to. This is the truth. You can do research for yourself and see this. They renamed your gods. They locked them in a dungeon. They called them demons, and they told you that they were evil. But the question is, evil to who? Evil to who? Elisha Eternal says, Tartarus, raise the Titans. Exactly. Exactly. But here's the thing, they didn't disappear. They didn't disappear. If you see here on the right, we've got this diagram created by Carl Jung. Consciousness is in everything, and it's everywhere. And each one of us wears a mask that we call a persona, the individual. But behind that mask is also the shadow. There's a genetic memory and there's a cosmic memory. We call it the collective unconscious. And these spirits, these cultures, these practices, these connections, they didn't disappear. They're waiting inside of each and every one of us. That's why you feel the pull. That's why you feel the connection. So instead of walking around feeling lost, walking around feeling like you have to beg for salvation, you have to ask somebody for help, they tell you that it's wrong to connect with the spirit. We walk around spiritually amputated, disconnected, and afraid of the very forces that we used to embody. So the thing is, the Goetia is not a list of evil spirits. When we talk about the Goetia, we're talking about a coded archive of spiritual DNA. Each one of these spirits have a connection to your ancestral past and your ancestral memory. Each and every one of them. So if you ever ask the question, how do I do it correctly? What if I do it wrong? We've all felt that way. I felt that way many times. That was the beginning of my practice. I purchased many books. I read many books. And I collected a lot of information. But I didn't actually take advantage of the information, right? I read it as entertainment, wondering what would happen if I did it. And here's the thing, I kept suffering, right? I kept going through life getting beat upside the head, wishing things would change, and nothing would actually change. But it got to a point, though. It got to a point where at first I was afraid of the magic. I was afraid of the spirits. I was afraid to do these rituals. But life sucked. And it got to the point where my fear of continuing in a life that was trash became stronger than a fear of any demon or any spirit. So when you get to that point and you have nothing else to lose, the natural choice is to try something different to see if it works. And that's exactly what I did. You could say I got some things wrong, but I learned, I studied, I practiced, and I got better, and I became the best. So you can be afraid that you're going to do it wrong, but you don't have to do it wrong if you have a system, if you have a teacher, if you have direction, if you have guidance. Many of us feel like demons are familiar. While most of the world goes around afraid of these things, running from these things, some of us feel a connection. Some of us grew up enjoying scary movies and the concept of the dark side and things like that. Perhaps there's a connection that goes back into your bloodline, into your cultural history. Lucifer began to speak to me as a child before I even knew who it was. I never asked his name until I became much older. But this angel has always been with me, guiding me, teaching me little by little. And as I opened up, I began to learn more. I began to connect more. Chances are, if you're watching this video, there are spirits that have been talking with you. Maybe you've ignored them. Maybe you've tried to connect. Maybe you've been too afraid. But what if there is a reason for this? What if there's something in your bloodline that has never forgotten you and knows that this is the age where you're able to reconnect? Do you feel like you've always had power, just never had the manual? Well, you're not crazy. You do have the power. We've heard Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, and many other of these teachers tell us that these spirits are inside of us, that the power is inside of us. We've been hearing this every time that we research this magic. These spirits, we hear that they're a part of us, they're within us. And that's the truth. They're not outside somewhere. They're not external from you. Right. Look what Bobby Hemmett said. You got 72 motherfuckers in your head. Facts. Facts. See, we talk about this collective unconscious. We talk about the soul. The soul contains all of this data. You're a part of the soul. You're a part of the collective unconscious. These entities are a part of you, and they always have been a part of you. It's up to you to make the conscious connection and tap into that power. My gnosis. Peace and greetings, my friend. Peace and greetings. Ultra Interesting says, as a kid, I used to laugh like a maniac at scary movies. Yeah, I used to love Alien and Xenomorph. Something told me that those things were more than just aliens. I used to love Hellraiser too. I felt like if I ever opened up that box, I wouldn't be killed or tortured. But it was scary still, right? As a kid, it was still scary. Benjamin 37, peace, peace. Benjamin says, bought the Goetia class. I had to. Awesome, my friend. Awesome. Yeah. We got lots of things to go over, my friend. Lots of things to go over. Melanated Empath says, Candyman is still my favorite. Absolutely. Wayne M, peace. Miko says, thanks. I'm currently reading Lucifer and the Hidden Demons, and that's a great book. Great book with great instruction. And yes, I am doing more episode shorts. Had to take a quick break to work on this class. So check this out. Speaking of class, right? The gate of power. We're opening this thing up. We're finally opening this thing up. So my current training that I'm offering to you right now, the Goetia, Awaken the 72 Names of Power. And I'm telling you, this is the best Goetia training on the market. Not just because I made it, right? But because I have studied this science for years. I have bought all the books, and I'm telling you, most of those books are just copy and paste. Most of those books, they just list the sigils and give a description that's been the same exact description for the past couple hundred years. You've seen it, right? If you've got Goetia books, you know what I'm talking about. And there's a handful of them that give some unique information. The S. Connolly Demonaltry books are great. Jake Stratton Kent is an excellent author. The book Kabbalah Clipoth and Goetic Demons, that's a wonderful book. But outside of those texts, there's a lot of copy and paste of the old ceremonial system that's difficult to grasp for this day and age. And there are even things that aren't even mentioned in these texts anywhere. For example, how to work with the legions. How to work with the legions. I had to learn from the Goetic spirits myself how to work with the Goetia legions. You will not find any information about the legions on the internet anywhere. I have scoured the net. And if you find information about the legions, by all means, please share it with me. I would appreciate it. But I had to come to my own gnosis about the deeper aspects of Goetia and how they actually connect us to our ancient bloodlines, our ancient cultures. And everything I'm saying here is with confidence because I have done the work. I've done the research. I've looked this shit up. You're not going to find anything about the legions. And most of these texts are just copy and paste. And the ones that are copy and paste, it's mostly a bunch of the ceremonial old style, which does work if you have the patience, if you have the concentration to do that. But in today's age, I'm just going to say it's not really practical. So this is the class that I'm offering right now. I'm going to teach you how to tap in. It's going to be 4 modules. We're going to talk about the psychology of power, right? And this is the first thing you're going to learn to set your mind up properly to work with these things with no fear, safely, right? I've already hosted several classes. One of my biggest classes was the Spirit Summoning Mastery System, and I showed you how to work with spirits safely, where we're getting very specific here with the Goetia. I'm going to teach you astral mechanics, how to work with that body of light, how to tap into the astral plane for real, what the astral plane is, not this imaginary place that you float around and try to spy on people, but the real science and technology of this astral plane and why it's important. And speaking of technology, we're going to get into the ritual technology, how to do these rituals in real time today without having to get an eye of newt and the front paw of a black cat on a graveyard under a full moon, how to work it in today's reality and what you're actually doing. I'm not just going to throw information. I'm going to walk you through how to do this specifically. And then we're going to tap into advanced power. As I told you before, you're not going to find any information about legions and how to work with a team of Goetic spirits. I don't know why, but that information isn't out there. Maybe those who know how to tap in are keeping it a closely guarded secret, or maybe people just haven't gone as deep as they like to pretend they have. But I'm going to teach you how to form your own team of spirits, real spirits that are going to get shit done. And it doesn't matter if you're trying to get money, if you're trying to get sex, if you're trying to heal yourself, if you're trying to enhance your connection to spirit. I'm going to show you how to tap into all these things safely. This isn't about condemning your soul or going to hell. This is about reclaiming what's yours, your power. I know what I'm doing. This ain't my first rodeo. Check. Check. So look, we begin on 8/8, the Lionsgate portal. And that's coming up real soon. This is a very significant time of the year, those of you who know. So again, this isn't just a course full of information that I'm going to dump on you. I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to know exactly how to call and command a Goetic spirit. You're going to be able to use that body of light. And this is talked about in the Kabbalah texts. I'm going to show you how to have a working ritual system that's yours, not an eye of newt, a wing of bat, a forefinger from somebody's grave. No, the 2025 version. I'm going to show you how to see the Goetia as magical psychology, because that's what it is. And you're going to reclaim the power your ancestors walked with. This is what time it is, right here, smack dab in the middle of the year. Lionsgate portal. So here's the thing. For 1 week only, we're doing this early bird special. Get in now with this first class. You're going to get the best price. It goes up to the normal price of $333 after the Lionsgate. So I want everyone to get in here at the best possible price. And there's going to be bonuses that are going to accelerate your lesson. It's going to accelerate you absorbing this information. But let's get this clear. The class will be available, but the price is most definitely going up. People have I've already talked to a few people who are interested in this class. I shared with them the price, and they're saying, Trav, you are undercharging for this. You are most definitely undercharging for this. But this is something bigger than just a class. I'm doing my part in helping a generation of people reconnect with their ancient ancestry. This is huge. Now, speaking of these bonuses, this is what you're going to get if you sign up this week. There's a demon download ritual, right? This is probably going to be the first thing that you see when you log in. And this demon download ritual, this is a guided meditation. I'm going to walk you through hell, right? This is a raw, unscripted, straight up guided meditation that's going to help to brighten your signal so you can start the process of connecting with your spirits. There's a 72 name cheat sheet. Now, again, this is something that I have not found. And if I had it in the beginning of my journey, this would have made things so much easier, right? How many of you look at that Goetia list and you see all those names and all those sigils and you're like, I don't know where to start. I wish I knew what spirit to work with. Well, I've made this simple for you. I've categorized these spirits according to what they actually do, how they actually work, and it's going to make it so much easier for you to choose what spirit to work with. And this is not found anywhere else in the world. You're not going to find it in any book, no PDFs, no websites. I have looked for almost 10 years now. But you're going to get it here in this class. And it's going to be a limited time bonus because I know it's going to leak out. I know it's going to leak out eventually, but you're going to have a head start. There's also going to be a masterclass inside that's separate from the course. We're going to talk about this software that's running in your subconscious mind. And of course, this is going to work best with a community. So we're building a community here. You're going to be able to ask questions, share your results from your rituals, talk about the synchronicities, and we're really going to tap into this current together. And I wish I had this when I started. So all this is available only this week until Lionsgate opens. Now, if you wait, you'll pay more and you'll get less. Even worse, you might fall behind. So, in closing, if you walk away from this tonight, that's okay. But know this, you're choosing to stay in the spiritual matrix where you beg instead of command, where you wonder instead of know, where you settle instead of summon. You can walk through this gate and become who you were meant to be. If you join me, you're reclaiming your throne. You're picking up what your ancestors were forced to stop. You're remembering your godhood, and the spirits are watching. They tried to bury your gods in hell, but they didn't realize hell is where your power lives. And tonight you rise. Do the work. Do the work. So, if this is something that you want to be a part of, I've pinned the link at the top of the chat. The link is also posted in the description of the video. Make your ancestors proud. Reclaim what they were forced to forget. That's what time it is. That's how we're doing this. That's how we're doing this. So, do we have any questions? Any comments? The class begins on 8/8. Yes, there are going to be live sessions. We're going to chop it up live. There are going to be pre-recorded videos where you can take your time and digest these lessons. There will also be live sessions. Boom. Elijah Eternal says, right after Virgo season, we in the underworld. Right. Right. Street Panther. Peace, peace, my friend. All right, so once again, tap the link. It's in the description. It's pinned at the top of this chat. Class begins on Lionsgate 8/8. Details are going to be provided in the class. Go ahead and jump in. You can get the bonus of the guided meditation. You can also get the 72 Demons cheat sheet. And there's also going to be an onboarding process. So every person that signs up, I'm going to help you select specifically what spirit spirit might be best for you to work with, or I'll give you a few options based on the information that you provide me. So you'll be able to connect with me, let me know some things about yourself, and then I will share with you what I think might be the best spirits for you to work with. So this is going to be rolling out through the week. Let's go ahead and get in here. We will end this year in power. In power. Benjamin 37 says, I will be one of the first in my bloodline, not only to work with the 72, but also the legions, bruh. Right, right. Yeah, so when I was working with Andros, I mean, I got obsessed. Right? I made this big ass altar. I put a sigil up on my wall. I got this consecrated ritual knife, and I went deep working with Andros to the point that it was really kind of scary. People were kind of getting hurt. But in that lesson with Andros, he specifically showed me how to work with the legions. So I tapped into the groups of his legions and figured out how to command them, how to get real intricate and real specific with this ritual work. So man, oh man, this is exciting. I'm glad to be able to share this with y'all. I've been talking about the Goetia since day one, and I'm glad to be back. Hopefully you are ready to tap into this. So yeah, that's that. That's that. I will see you on the other side. Destroying generational curses. The ancestors are celebrating right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Shem L, peace, peace. Looking forward to seeing you in class at Intrav. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glad to connect once again. Once again. All right. So, like I said, join the class. Guided meditation is there for you. 72 Demon Cheat Sheet is there for you. I'm going to be doing the onboarding process with each student that joins. The class opens on Lionsgate. Details will be provided about the live sessions, the Discord link. Once everything is situated with the Discord, it's going to be going as well. And we in there. We in there. She wants Miko says, Trav, the street's been asking for this for a minute now. Yeah, and I wasn't going to do it, to be honest, but something happened, man. Something happened when I started doing those Saturn mantras. Like, it just opened the gates once again. It all came back. This is where I was supposed to be. All right, so I didn't want this to go on for too long. I just wanted to let you know that we getting this thing started, and I hope to see you there. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I love you. Peace.